Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Jackman, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey guys, and welcome to Film Artsy, your #1 source for all things films and movies. And just over this last weekend, it actually was Benedict Cumberbatch's birthday, so we thought today would be a really interesting time to take a look through his career and see some of the awesome things he's been able to do over the course of his career. So let's go ahead and jump into this and take a closer look at some of the awesome stuff that Benedict Cumberbatch, one of our favorite actors from the MCU as Doctor Strange, has done since the beginning of his career. Now, it actually turns out that Cumberbatch started out his career after he received his master's in classical acting when he graduated from the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. And what's really cool is that he was really passionate about not only the teaching of acting, and he went on to continuously teach different types of elements in acting throughout his career and even to this day. He also was really involved in a lot of different things where he would act in various theatrical plays along with directing numerous events, but he actually got his first film role, which was actually an uncredited role in the movie Topsy-Turvy from back in 1999.
To accompany me on the harmonium. Now, we have another very young hopeful with us this evening. Not what I was playing, or what I was dreaming then, but I struck one chord.
In 2005, we actually got to see Benedict Cumberbatch play a part in a scene from a TV show called Nathan Barley.
Business manager. Sits in his office all day looking at charts. He'll sort out the paperwork and Bob's your film.
You're giving me the grant?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Ah, Robin. Michelle gets the £20,000.
Yes.
And then if we look to 2009, Benedict Cumberbatch actually played the lead role in a play called The Turning Point. Now, mind you, throughout all this time, he was still involved in other projects, doing a lot of theatrical plays, and still making his way into more traditional media in the sense of television and film.
You don't look much like the BBC.
You don't look much of a statesman, but appearances can be deceptive, don't you find, Mr. Churchill?
Bloody impertinence.
Agreed, but not necessarily inaccurate.
Damn it, the world is standing on the brink of total ruination.
You spend your time building a brick wall. Fair enough. But I think you should be careful, Mr. Churchill. It seems to be sagging a bit on the left-hand side.
Actually, if we look into 2009, we can actually see an interview of Benedict Cumberbatch talking about the character that he's playing for the movie that was called Creation.
Diamond was a very private man. He was somebody who was intensely involved with his family and his home life and not interested in the big celebratory fanfaring of his work or him as a personality in science and the culture at large. The brilliant thing about this story is that it's a very universal story, whether it be the levels of family.
Then we also know he was in the Whistleblower movie back in 2010.
Contingent commander.
Good to meet you.
Great to meet you.
How are you?
Can I give you your hand?
I'm fine. This way?
Yeah. Good to have another American in the mix. Some people got pissed off saying we're taking over. Makes my life easier. Especially when there's a good-looking woman reporting to me.
Oh, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but I report to Madeline Reed.
It's a joint appointment. And she's human rights, but you're democracy, so ultimately you're all mine at the end of the day.
In 2012, he was the star in The Imitation Game, which was a huge hit of a film. It was very well received.
This war, we're not winning it. If you speak a word of what I'm about to show you, you will be executed for high treason.
And we also got to see an interview of Benedict Cumberbatch from 2012 when he was talking about the movie War Horse. Now, what's really interesting is his career really started to blow up around this time, which is kind of funny if you think about it. While he did have a prolific career in the 2000s, 2012 would not only mark the real big turning point in his career, but also the MCU was starting to blow up as well, with the first Avengers movie releasing that year, and maybe back then he didn't think he would ever land a major role just a few years later in the MCU, but nonetheless he was seeing huge success because just a few years earlier in 2010 he was casted to play Sherlock Holmes in the BBC series Sherlock, which was hugely successful and would go on to have multiple seasons. And these movie/TV shows, or these just very highly produced and long-length TV series episodes, were very well received, and this really blew up Benedict Cumberbatch's career and had pretty heavy praise through the course of the show's run for 4 seasons. And since these were such involved seasons of the show, since they were kind of like individual movies, this not only involved a lot of his time, but definitely had a lot of anticipation leading up to all of it. He was involved in other stuff. He was in the movie War Horse, where he has done behind the scenes talking about that movie.
Gentlemen! To get on the set with Spielberg, that very familiar silhouette and that figure just saying, okay, we're going to get you on some horses and going to have great fun. Let's have a go at this. You're right. Yeah, I think so.
I can't tell you how thrilling it is. There are 120 horses in 3 lines, lunging at 40 miles an hour as fast as a horse can carry you, and 120 stuntmen screaming hell fury, and all those hooves in your ears, just the thunder of it.
Then he also talked about another BBC show that he was going to be in called Parade's End, which he actually starred in a few episodes back in 2012.
And it's a very tempestuous marriage. They're 2 people who don't know the right way to love one another, and he tries to deal with her with kindness, and she plays out and is thoroughly scurrilous and has affairs, and basically tries to knock a reaction out of him beyond what he's giving her, which is this passive kindness and tolerance. And then this extraordinary third party joins their lives called what's the name of it? Valentine. Thank you very much, Valentine.
Well done. 2013 he was in 12 Years a Slave.
The creek is plenty deep enough to sail, even with a boat full of load. The distance from the work area to the point on the latter bayou is several miles by water, fewer than land. It occurs to me that the expense of transportation would be materially diminished.
Materially diminished?
If we use the waterway.
And Benedict Cumberbatch was also doing motion picture in a suit for The Hobbit back in 2014, which was another huge theatrical release that he was involved in.
Well, thief, I smell you. I hear your breath. I feel your air. Where are you?
Now, even after he was a well-known actor, he continued to land some really big roles and even did some acting in theater, such as the Hamlet play in 2015 after seeing all of the success. Then we of course know that he was casted as Doctor Strange in 2012, but went on to do a lot more in various other projects along the way, starring in some motion capture stuff for the movie Mowgli.
Benedict Cumberbatch is Shere Khan.
He will always be a man.
Benedict is just, of course, the most magnificent choice for this character because he plays him not just as a black and white villain, but as a damaged individual.
What happens if you fail?
You don't join the pack!
We're incredibly lucky to have Rowan at the center of this.
And on top of all of this, he is set to appear in some big upcoming films, such as The Power of Dog, Prisoner, and Louis Wayne, which are all in post-production right now. So are you a fan of Benedict Cumberbatch? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe and notifications on for more videos like this. See you all next time with a brand new video.
I'm about to.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi. See you guys.